Oh my god, it's finally here! The much anticipated film Godzilla, starring Bryan Cranston of meth head fame, is coming to theaters today. But because of its Japanese origins, fans of the original are kind of worried that it's not going to come out true to its source. What did the American release change? Did they make the changes for the better? Let's take a look at the film Godzilla, or as you say in American, Godzilla. First off, right from the very beginning, the one thing that struck me as being kinda odd is that the film is in black and white. However, when I thought back on recent movie history, I realized that 2013's Frances Ha and 2011's The Artist were both in black and white as well, and they won a lot of awards. So it's nice to see a blockbuster like Godzilla taking these risks and trying to do something a little bit different. That's +1 point for my art category. Now let's talk about the characters and actors a little bit. Of course, the main lead is Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad fame, and his sidekick, Ken Watanabe, the Samuel L. Jackson of Japan, is also joining him, so we have some pretty big stars. One of the things I noticed about Bryan Cranston was how strange he looks in the film. He looked nothing like himself, so kudos to whoever did the makeup on this film. I would say he looked a lot less like Walter White and a lot more like Perry Mason, but maybe that's just me. While it might be difficult for audiences to accept Cranston outside his popular criminal persona, it really shows his range as an actor and willingness to play against type. Good job, Bryan! Or should I say Steve Martin? Because I'm gonna remember your name. +1 for acting. This film wouldn't be anything if it didn't have some sort of deeper message that it was, sending to the children. Godzilla was said to have been created as a side effect from radiation or nuclear testing. Now, when I think about current events, I realize that this movie is trying to make a commentary on nuclear power, specifically Fukushima. This film gets major kudos for stepping on some political toes and not going the easy, big, badass monster destroying things route, +1 for smashing our hearts and our minds at the same time. So we saved the best for last. That, of course, is the CG, or computer graphics. The CG in this film is outstanding. The computer-generated Godzilla actually looks like he's interacting with and modifying things within his environment. It almost looks as if there's some kind of man in some kind of rubber suit who's actually walking around and interacting with things in its environment that are actual physical things, but they're not. Now, if it got any more realistic, I don't think I'd be able to handle it, and I'd probably be throwing up all over the theater. So I'm gonna give it +2 points, unprecedented, for computer graphics. I guess that brings us to the final scoring. It's time for the Tofugu tally. This film gets +1 for art, +1 for acting, +1 for smashing our hearts and our minds, and +2 for CG. Unfortunately, this tally is out of 100, so this film gets a 5 out of 100, which is 5% on the Tofugu scale. Still, that is the highest rated film we have ever reviewed. I hope you enjoyed this movie review. Please join us next time when we'll be reviewing the brand new live-action Spider-Man.